live from the Post Avenue studios. So the studios keep changing from show to show. Richard Taylor, Richard Solomon with the post-concert review. So what do you think of the Fab Faux at the Space at Westbury?
Richard Taylor here. I was pleasantly surprised. I was in awe. These guys really made all the Beatles, the whole Beatles catalog come alive.
Yeah, it was funny. Growing up listening to the Beatles, you always think of the four Beatles, but they had a whole entourage up there, and I guess you really need that.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you think about what George Martin put into all of their songs, I mean, after they stopped being a pop band and really got into being more musicians and artists, there was a lot of layers in all those albums. You know, Rubber Soul and Sgt. Pepper and Magical Mystery Tour. There's a lot of layers in there, and yeah, these guys, Fab Faux is super talented.
You know, it's funny. It kind of made me feel as if I was watching the Beatles, sort of playing.
Sorry,
Who's played today?
The Fab Faux.
Fab Faux.
The Fab Faux.
They do Beatles.
Oh, the Beatles. I know George Colatró, I know CC Top, I know the camping. I see a lot of people here. I live over there, you know. I say, what's going on today?
You missed a good show.
You missed a good show.
You know, Americans work, big time. Yeah, I enjoy it. I see it. Good, man. Thank you.
Right,
have a great night.
Have a good night.
You too, guys.
All right. I guess that's our live studio audience for tonight. I kind of felt like it was the Beatles meet Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan, because they really these guys added like a real rock and roll edge.
Yeah, no, there was a rock and roll sensibility. They did some extended jams on some of the songs, and you know what? And it was really tastefully done.
Oh yeah. You know, they did a killer version of "While My Guitar Gently Weeps."
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. That guitar solo was nice, and also the tribute to Greg Allman, I thought, was a really nice gesture.
You know, it's funny. There's so many things that go on in the news, and for people who may not know, this is the week that we lost Adam West, Batman, and we lost Greg Allman of the Allman Brothers, and they did a very nice tribute to both, which I thought was very touching and beautiful.
Well, it's part of our history. You know, these you and I grew up with Batman and Greg Allman. You know, the Allman Brothers music is timeless, and we lost a great artist.
Oh yeah, look, they used to come. The Allman Brothers used to have I was in March. They'd just come into the Beacon for a while and just.
They would spend a month.
Yeah.
And I've seen them there. I'd seen them at Jones Beach. I've seen them in a number of places, and just a legendary band.
It's funny. One of the coolest things I ever saw ever in a concert in terms of a tribute to a former member was I saw Leonard Skinner. I don't really remember where it was. It could have been Jones Beach. It was after Ronnie Van Zant died, of course. And what they did is on an amplifier, they just put his top hat. They had an empty microphone stand. They put a spotlight on it, and then they did Freebird, but they wouldn't sing it. They just let the audience.
I heard
sing.
about
it
that.
was very moving. It was very moving.
No, on my Spotify library list, I have a few of the old Lynyrd Skynyrd songs, and they're just really well crafted stuff that still holds up till today.
So tonight at the Fab Faux concert at the Space at Westbury, they did amongst other things, they did the Hey Jude album. I didn't even know that Hey Jude had an album. There was an album.
Actually, I had Hey Jude as an 8-track.
Wow. So I looked it up so it was basically a compilation album. It wasn't really a real. It wasn't like a real release album.
It was a bunch of singles, including Hey Jude. So they needed a place to put it. It was a bunch of unreleased stuff. I'm not sure when it was released, but like I said, I had it when it was when 8-tracks were around.
Okay, I didn't write a set list down, but I remember they played I mean, they played almost everything. They played Rain. What do you remember them playing?
They did a lot from the White Album.
Yes.
They did a lot from their early years, Paperback Writer.
Which is still true today. As someone who's written a book, you know, and I go to the book shows, it's actually a very true song to this day.
Yep. Don't Let Me Down.
Right.
But they, you know, I mean, I always have loved the Beatles, grew up on the Beatles, but just seeing Fab Faux performing here tonight just brought it all to life, and it was fun to watch.
Now, in pre-production, meaning at the show, you were saying how you've seen other Beatles tribute bands, whatever, but these guys were different.
Yeah, I went to many years ago, back in the 70s. They had Beatlemania. You know, they had the whole costumes. It was one of the first Broadway shows, and I also saw recently, maybe like 5-6 years ago, they also had another Broadway tribute band. It was the Rain. And it didn't have the electricity that was here tonight. You know, I mean, it was good. It was great to hear the songs, but there was something special that Fab Faux puts behind the music.
Yeah, they really, you know, I guess to describe for the people listening, each band member plays like 4 or 5 instruments.
Oh yeah,
and they play them well.
But as we were talking about before, at least 3 of the Beatles played at a minimum of four instruments.
You know. It was interesting. I think all 5 of the different band members all sang.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
And I think that was like the secret to why bands like Fleetwood Mac always did well, because when you have a diversity of singers, you know, it really adds different elements to each album experience.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to mention that these were musicians from some were from Conan, and the others from Letterman, and just, you know, they nailed it. They're great.
So what concerts we have coming up? We got.
I don't know.
We've been doing good.
I got to search the calendar.
All right. So Richard Solomon, Richard Taylor, a post-concert review. You know we'll be back because we love rock and roll music. So keep it locked in, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for listening.